Howdy, lieutenants and economists.
The most volatile, evil, disgusting things on the planet, humans. If you have a video request, you can always go to assholeconsulting.com.
Yeah, I am gonna charge you, kids. And that is the importance of not fucking up.
You are such an asshole!
Asshole Consulting, how you guys doing? Remember, if you are a military veteran, you get a discount. It's a helpful discount. And an anonymous person writes, I'm going to anonymize a couple things. Dear asshole, I'm 23 years old and you grew up in a small town. Your dad made you leave home. My dad made me leave home and go live with a ministry friend of his in Colorado when I graduated from high school. As a dumb 17-year-old after high school, I attended an unaccredited Bible college after pressure from my dad. He's a preacher, an unsuccessful and shady one, and now divorced. After a year of working fast food and going to that school, I worked in construction as an electrical helper. Dad, my job got me. That ended and I came home to a family struggle to find my mom left my dad because of his physical abuse and anger issues, so I lived with my mom. I joined a branch of the military a couple of years ago and began to take classes. I'm about to earn an associate's in computer science in my something else at the community college. All A's so far. I graduated from high school with 3.7 GPA. I took 2 reputable IQ tests and landed in the 120s. My issue and concern, I was homeschooled all my life. Of course you were, because otherwise you might have thought of a religion aside from Christianity. And thus was extremely awkward. I even walked a little awkward, improved quite a bit. I'm a fit guy. I love to run. But with sports, I'm lacking. Combine that with a southern accent, you can imagine how I get treated at work. Despite stellar job performance and winning base level awards, I get constantly picked on by a certain group who go out of their way to make me uncomfortable and undermine anything I say. My squadron is like high school. I'm basically bullied by a few. I've tried talking back and ignoring, but that hasn't worked. I've tried avoiding them, but I always run into them. They make fun of me about my looks or my walk, calling me a dickhead and such. Sometimes they are the ones who train me on various things too, so no avoiding interactions. How do I deal with this workplace bullying? It hurts my ego and it doesn't help. Oh, your feelings, you're hurt. Oh. And it doesn't help that with my specific position, I'm isolated from social groups. Is my major solid, and should I commission as an officer in the Air Force and get my bachelor's degree and run with it? Well, yeah, your major solid. Computer science, that's good. I'm trying to figure out, so who does this to you? They are your rank. Leadership respects you, and these guys, they don't do anything illegal, and I don't want to simply have them stop because egotistical people get off on knowing they bother you. Not to mention my social skills, shit-taking skills are not that great, so when I do talk back, I always end up feeling like shit. Well, plus they're always not outranking you, but outnumbering you. They're cowards. It's not really like me to be that guy. This one in particular guy, well, I was somewhat rude just joking around with the guys with him when I first met him, and ever since he's been a bully. He's good at putting people against each other, and his position always allows for more exposure influence than mine. Ridicules me for my looks, my walk, my accent, my race. Well, fuck him, then he's racist. If that's it, you go file a racial complaint, says I'm an idiot, and well, you're not an idiot, you're 120 IQ, probably smarter than any chance of kids, blah, blah, blah. You're always fucking up, you don't really have a girlfriend. Okay, let's look at you. You're kind of dopey looking, but you're not. That's just because you're young. You got baby face. You're in really good shape. This other picture isn't loading. This may sound like weak insults, but when someone has influence like he does in the squadron, it gets to be a problem. Okay, so he has social dynamics. He doesn't outrank you. My girlfriend. Well, you got a girlfriend. She did a degree in electrical engineering. Okay. Boop-a-doop, boop-a-doop, boop-a-doop. Okay, here's the deal. In the olden days, how you would handle this is the guy would mouth off to you, you punch him square in the chops, you probably get yelled at, you guys would fight, your sergeant would break it up, and then no one in the unit would bother you again, no one in your squadron would bother you again. Today, that's not the case. If you punch him, you probably end up in the brig, him or anybody else. So you can't exactly stand up to them unless you wanted to, like, get into that insult war. You have to counter their insults, you know, like, whatever, faggot. I mean, and you gotta understand that this is such petty bullshit. Whoever your CO, you know, I can imagine lieutenant, certainly the captain, doesn't want to deal with this petty crap. So what I'm saying is, in the olden days, you could have probably punched one guy, been done with it, beat the shit out of him, probably got in a little bit of trouble. Sorry, they knocked this fucking shit off. That happens. Young men with their testosterone, they're going to get in fights. Now, given how pussified and pansified the military is, you could be kicked out. There ain't no war. They don't need you that much. And here's the thing. You got a lot more to lose than these guys. You got an IQ of 120. You're in a damn fine program. It is not worth getting kicked out of the military or having this go on your record where you physically assaulted somebody for calling you a name. But what you are going to do is you're going to talk to whoever your commanding officer is, whoever your... And not sergeant. Because the sergeant may be like... and maybe if you could approach your sergeant, but I would try and get an officer. There's got to be some kind of resource that if you are being harassed, and that's what this is workplace harassment. This is not right. And you could, I wouldn't even bother telling them, the kids, the guys harassing you, and saying, you know what, I'm going to report you to workplace harassment if you don't knock this fucking shit out. I wouldn't even bother with that because these guys are dickheads. So it should go on their mark. It should go on the record. And I know this seems such pansified and pussified, but that's the rules, dude. That's the rules. It's like if somebody pushes you at a bar, you have every right to punch that guy, but you're the one that's going to get arrested and go. You're going to be charged. Pushing is not pushing can be harassment, maybe what 20th degree assault. You punch the guy, that's assault. Maybe even unintentional manslaughter if you hit him just right and his head hits the ground. That happened to a guy in a bar in Wyoming that I used to go to. So what you got to do is you got to play it by the rules. I don't know why you haven't reported them yet. So find out. If you're being harassed at work, go to your sergeant and say, Sarge, I'm getting harassed by a bunch of guys. Where do I file a formal complaint? Not, I'm filing a complaint. Where do I file a complaint in paper, on the record? If you don't trust your sergeant, then go to your lieutenant. Or whoever it is that, I don't know who people answer to in different, hopefully some people down below who are military, ex-military will be able to tell you where to go. But there's got to be some kind of HR-type personnel, some kind of officer there, some kind of office where you go and say, this is what's happening, they're harassing me, blah, 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 and I want it to end. All right? And then that should put an end to it. What I would do is I would also see if you could record it. I don't know if that's legal in the state that you're in, or whether it's not like you're going to a court or filing actual charges against them. But basically say, it's these three guys. It's only three guys. It's these three guys. I'm done with it. Get them, knock it off. Tell them to knock it off. And if it keeps happening, just report it again. It's like going to the principal, except I have a feeling that the military, especially in today's world, they might actually give a shit. That is not going to get rid of their disrespect for you. They're still going to try and get you. They might hide your gun. They might play some practical jokes on you. So here's what you got to do. There's got to be some kind of boxing ring or some kind of fighting or sparring program. Usually there's like in the Navy they had boxing. What I would do is I would find out what kind of martial art or fighting or MMA or whatever they have, whatever sport is where you can spar and wrestle, jiu-jitsu, whatever, and I would make that your second job right now. I know you got your studies, I know you got your regular obligations, but you go and learn to beat the shit out of people. All right? And you do, and I'm not joking, like that is your, I know school is, number one is the military, your job. Number two is your education. But tied at number two, I would even drop classes, and you're a strong kid, I saw you, I'm like, okay, you got the strength, now can you fight? And I don't give a shit what your dad did to you, I don't get it, now is not the time for that. And you train up, and you train up, and you train up, and you start kicking some ass, and then you go and you spar against some people. You get good enough, you don't have to, beat your sensei or anything like that. You don't have to be the best. You just get good enough that you know that you can fight, you can do it. And then the next time one of these guys does it, if they do, all right, even if there's any kind of joke, any kind of harassment still going on, then you say, you want to take that out in the ring? Or are you just a pussy? And see, now you got him. Now you got him. And I would even, you know, fight and spar, because it's not going to be necessarily training up. That's one thing. It's also going to get punched in your face. It's all going to have your, you know, having a guy's fucking crotch right in your face and you're trying to break out of an arm bar or something like that. I want you to get the shit kicked out of you while you're on that mat, whatever it is, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, regular boxing. And you say, how would you like to go and fight it, you know, over in the ring? You keep harassing me. How about you actually do something about it? We could do it, Lee. If you hate me that much, you could fight me in the ring and you won't even get in trouble. And then you proceed to beat the ever-living shit out of them. We're talking at least a 6-month plan here, right? And you'd have to be training every day. You almost would have to be silent about your training, but they'll see you training and all that. Yeah, they might, that alone might back them off. But you're going to go immediately to management, officers, whoever, whatever department is you file the complaint, get a record of them doing it. That doesn't stop it, record them, then you go to the management, this hasn't ended. I even go above the rank. You know, I wouldn't maybe grab a major, maybe be like, what the fuck? And he'll get pissed down the chain of command. But in the meantime, and that's just having the principal cover for your ass. That's not going to change it. What these guys are doing is they're trying to find the weak spots, so that if it's ever in war and they're the tribe, then they got to worry about you. If you go and you beat the shit out of one of them, you know, legally, in the ring, or you face them down and say, what are you, a pussy? And then you can do that too. You can get up in their shit and say like, oh, you want to fight today? No, anytime you want, let's go. You know, and the other guy, hey, you know, we want to go into the other guy, hey, did you want to go into the ring? Oh, you didn't? You know, leave chickens on their desks or whatever the hell they are. I mean, you can counter it. Of course, now you filed the complaint about harassment, and now you're harassing them. But a little bit of that, a little bit of sprinkling, you know, a military guy comes down and says, I heard that you put chickens on, you know, a little stuffed chicken on. I was like, yeah, I did. Well, that's because you guys weren't doing anything about it. They kept harassing me, so now I'm harassing them back. The key thing is be able to deliver on the fact that you can beat the shit out of them legally. So that there's got to be some kind of gym, even if it's not on base. There might be some gym, there might be a dojo somewhere. You go and you skill the fuck up. And then in about 6 months of, you know, I'd say 3 hours a week, easy. And just go learn to fight. You got the strength, and you got to learn to take those muscles and get people in chokeholds. And I know jiu-jitsu is the best. It's just jiu-jitsu sucks. Oh, it sucks. It's so painful. It's good, but it's painful. So those are the two approaches. One, you're going to go report them. Do it by the book. Get it on paperwork. That's how it is nowadays. That doesn't address the underlying issue that they can tell it. They can sense it. They're trying to find the weak link, and you are that weak link because of the shitty upbringing you had. But make it so you can beat the shit out of them. And if they threaten you, or not threaten you, but harass you anymore, just say, hey, you know, there's a gym down over there, you know, where we can get into a boxing ring. Would you like to go box? Well, then shut the fuck up, you little pussy. And then if he hits you, you got him. See, because then it's assault on him. And then you can really fucking unload on him. Of course, he'll probably have his 2 gay friends with him. So, all right, that's it. That's how you're going to handle it. So, other than that racial shit, you could file a sexual, or not sexual, race complaint. That'd be something you could do. Turn it on their heads. All right, any advice that you military guys got, go ahead and put it below. Again, I wasn't in the military, so I don't know. This is just what I know from being a man. We'll catch you kids later. Toodles.